What's up, savages? It's fucking Prediction Wednesday. I love this shit. Let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gandhi Spells, brought to you by My Nutrition. I am Gandhi, and today, doing brackets. Oh yeah, love this shit. Tuesdays suck for predictions. Every time I predict on Tuesday, the whole tournament just gets all messed up. Like Niagara, no one saw that shit coming. No one saw that shit coming. I think I got 4 out of the top 8 right, so. Cuckoo! So we're going back Wednesday. We're going to pray everything works out on Wednesday. So real quick, though, before we get into it, I have 2 things to address. One, we have a full-blown bracket show tonight with myself, Maven, and Mr. X on MLG.TV/UGC. So make sure you tune into that. That'll be at 6 o'clock Eastern. And second, now, when we look at this, the XGames format is a lot different than what most of console FPS players are used to. Now, this is group play. Now, normally when you see group play, you're like, oh, pool play, everyone plays each other. Not the case here. It's a double elimination bracket inside of a group with the top 2 advancing out of it. So, just so we have that clear, every team doesn't have to play every team. You just have to go through your bracket. So, we're going to start this one off. Now, right away, you're going to see that I have EG with a 1 and Optic Nation with a 1 because I started it in one of my retakes, and that's just how things go. So we're going to go ahead and talk about EG and SB. Evil Geniuses. #1 team in the league, #1 team in Call of Duty. They look extremely dominant, and it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. I think a lot of teams are still playing catch up, and so many people are buying into basically getting Aches' like appreciation. They want to be recognized by Aches, like, oh, Aches, tell me I'm good, just so I can continue to play, right? I don't get how that works, but on the flip side, their opponent is going to be Strictly Business. Strictly Business, dead last in the league. Online is not their favor, and they're losing Methods, who I think is probably their second best player, and they're acquiring Fizzerp. Now, Fizzerp is a player who kind of plays for himself. He's a mean search and destroy player. He has his own ideas on the game, and he kind of brings his own dynamic, but I just don't think there's any way in hell Strictly Business can beat EG. And to predict that Strictly Business could beat EG is doing a disservice to EG. Is it possible? Sure, it's fucking possible. I mean, XGN beat EG in the last event. Like, of course, but not likely. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the second matchup here, which is going to be Optic Nation taking on TK. And as you guys can see, I already kind of picked Optic Nation, so eat shit. Nah, but seriously, I had to take a sip of water. So Optic Nation and TK. We're going to start with TK. TK's in 9th place in the league right now. Online, they just aren't good. They got top 8 at Niagara with a fill-in. Okay, they got top 8 with a fill-in. Things were looking really good for them. And I thought, you know, maybe they'll be okay. You know, maybe when Apathy comes back, who's a fucking beast, by the way, I think they're going to be okay. But we haven't really seen that kind of success with them on the league. Now, I've heard rumors where if they are already like kind of contemplating not making it into the championship bracket for Anaheim, if they will even go and compete and stuff like that. So it's like, where are they mentally? Now, on the other side, we have Optic Nation. Optic Nation finished 4th at Niagara, shocking a lot of people there besides the Optic Nation fans. And I think Optic Nation can only get better. I fucking love this team. I really, really do. I think Miracles is a beast. Killa is back to, like, having his own sense of the game. Like, I can't tell you, I've watched so many of his streams, and he's basically mind-fucking these Search and Destroy kids. He's making kids run Incog on Sovereign Search and Destroy, which is like, the fuck runs Incog on Sovereign Search and Destroy, right? So, Killa's confident, the team's confident. I think they have this. I think they have that matchup. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the next matchup here, which is going to be, I know it says semifinals again, but as always, this is the winners bracket finals. Optic Nation taking on EG. Just a little quick one here. EG 3-0'd them at Niagara. I think it's going to be a similar beast here as well. I think the matchup EG struggles with is more slow and double nade heavy play, whereas Optic Nation's going to be a team who's going to try to basically shoot with them, and I don't think they can shoot with them. In fact, I know they can't shoot with them. So if they slow down and they play very, very gay, I guess is the word Call of Duty players use, but if they slow down and throw a lot of nades and force EG to basically start everything, there's a chance they can kind of come out with this, but I don't see Killa going into that kind of mentality. I think he's going to try to use his strats and out-strategize EG, which isn't going to work. So we're going to go ahead and... I went back to myself there. We're going to go ahead and say EG takes this one, and I know I'm only clicking one, but It's just to make it quicker. So now we get to go all the way back here. Strictly Business taking on TK. Again, I think Strictly Business, given the fact that they don't have methods and they're using Fizzurp when they haven't really practiced with him. Oh, God, what is this? What happened? Thank you. Jesus Christ, that was terrifying. I think just for the fact that Strictly Business has a fill-in and they haven't really played with Fizzurp means that TK should take it. Now, this right here is going to be interesting, and we're going to talk about this again. Now, in traditional double elimination bracket play, this should be a continuation series, right? But it's not. It is not. MLG has canned the double elimination double elimination. They've canned the continuation series at X Games. So this is a fresh best of 5. So if Optic Nation 3-0s TK in the winners bracket round 1, and then TK beats them 3-0, sure, the total score is 3-3, but TK would go on to advance. So you have to keep that in mind. So do I think TK will beat them? No. I have a lot of faith in Optic Nation. I'm expecting them to go relatively far, and I think that's exactly going to be the case. But I just want everyone to know this is going to be a problem because we're going to see this again. We're going to see this again on the other side, and that's going to kind of justify my prediction. So there we have Optic Nation taking this one, and then winners finals, which basically just determines seeding, which I'm going to explain in a second. I have EG. So the team, and I have to get the next one set up anyways, the team who comes out first, so the team who wins, you know, the grand finals of the double elimination. Why is this fucking this sleeve is like shorter than this one? I don't fucking get it. The team who comes out winning the grand finals of the pool play bracket is going to have the 1 seed, which means they will be facing off against the 2 seed from the opposite pool. Okay, so everyone follow that. Number 1 seed coming out of the pool plays the number 2 seed from the opposite pool because it's a mismatch. Everyone get it? Everyone kosher? Sweet. So EG should have the number 1 seed, which means Optic Nation will have the number 2. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the other side. So, other side here, Envy versus Curse Orange. Now, Envy, I would say, is the clear-cut second best team in Call of Duty Ghosts right now. And I think Curse Orange, as you know, as much as people want to and support, Mud Dog, and I just think Mud Dog can't beat Envy. I think it's that simple, and I also think that Curse Orange toe-to-toe versus Envy can't do it. I think Attach and Miyagi are great players. I think Attach is a little bit better online. I think Miyagi is a beast, but Miyagi has to be there mentally, and both of them do. And I think that's going to be difficult. I think if I could go back and do Curse Orange all over again, if I was like Benson, I would have probably just kept the AOX or Xfinity roster the exact same and just let them continue to build instead of going on pro points. But it's not an ideal world, man. So I keep hitting 2. Today sucks. So now Optic Gaming versus FaZe Red. Now this matchup, you guys are going to be a little bit confused when I go into the loser's bracket, but hopefully you understand. Optic Gaming taking on FaZe Red. I think in the first best of 5, Optic Gaming should come out super hot. Now, Optic Gaming, right? Really, really good players. Once they started basically letting Scump host for them, so Clayster could kind of connect a little bit better because he connects kind of shitty to the Optic Gaming house. Clayster's looked really good. He had a bad Niagara event, which I think in part basically had a lot to do with adjusting to Proofy, right? Proofy is a player who's going to get kills. He's going to switch things up a lot. And so when you put kind of 2 players who basically were ARs and then they kind of turn into subs on the same team, there tends to be a little bit of, not turmoil, but both players have like a hard time adjusting to the change, okay? And I think that's kind of what happened here with this Optic Gaming roster at Niagara. I really do. So I'm expecting Optic Gaming to really come out strong versus FaZe Red, and that's mainly just because of the stage. I think the stage of X Games, every time there's a big event, COD Champs, a big MLG event, and now X Games, Optic Gaming always does well. It's the other ones where they kind of fall off a little bit, and I don't know if it's just because of all the people watching them or what it is. Maybe it's the manifestation of everyone like, oh, Optic's going to do well, but I don't know what the fuck it is, but they always do well when the stage is set pretty high. So I know there's no prize money at X Games, but it's the fucking X Games. So Optic Gaming's going to take that. Now, we're going to switch it up here. We're going to go down here real quick. FaZe Red versus Curse Orange. We're going to make this quick. FaZe Red beats Curse Orange. Curse Orange doesn't really stand a chance versus FaZe Red, in my personal opinion. So now, Envy taking on Optic Gaming. The matchup here, all right? 1, veto system. 2, Envy has higher seed, which means they can kind of manipulate the maps better in their favor. So if you are Envy, what's kind of the maps you kind of look at getting out? Well, you get rid of Octane Dom. That one's fucking gone. You get rid of Strike Zone Dom, because I think for whatever reason, like, even though, you know, like, Optic was really good at Strike Zone Dom when they had Embos, and even when they have Proofy now, they're still good at Strike Zone Domination. They're just a good team at it. I would try to get rid of those two and force it to Sov. I would want Sovereign Domination, and then I wouldn't even care too much about the Search and Destroy. I think both Search and Destroys are good for both of these teams, so we'll kind of leave it at that. I think if you were to ban out any Search versus Optic Gaming, it'd probably be Octane. That's the one I've seen them have the most success on, and I know they probably feel different, but when you have fucking 2 snipers, possibly 3 snipers from Optic Gaming who can turn it on in a fucking split of a second and just basically get first blood and change the entire game for you, you want to get that the fuck out of there. So Envy, that's kind of their bans, right? That's what they have to kind of veto immediately. So looking at it though, right? Envy, a lot of people kind of take credit away from Envy because they've lost like 30, what I think the record's like 0-33 or 0-31 versus fucking, they're 0-31. That's a lot of games lost. It's insane. I don't know how it's 31 either, but they're 0-31 versus EG. So I think a lot of people are like, oh shit. Like, oh, they're not good. And Optic Gaming matches up better versus EG, which is true. But I think the matchup favors Envy here. So we're going to go ahead and throw Envy over Optic Gaming. Now, you know, I literally said I was only going to do one just to make it easier. So now, Optic Gaming versus FaZe Red. All right? Let the flame begin. Okay? I think this is what's going to happen. I talked about it in the first thing, so I'm going to talk about it now. Right. There is no continuation. Okay? There is no continuation. You give FaZe Red 2 best of 5s. FaZe Red matches up good versus Optic. FaZe in general matches up great versus Optic. You can even ask any of the members on Optic Gaming at the Call of Duty Championship, and I know we're talking about different teams here, but kind of, right? At the Call of Duty Championship, Optic Gaming didn't want to play FaZe. They know they match up very, very poorly versus FaZe. Now, what's going to happen here? I mean, yes, Theory's been on a cruise. Yes, he's going to basically be coming straight into the fucking XGames, but I don't think it matters. I still think FaZe Red is going to do this, and I think it's going to be a good thing here because people need to learn that continuation is a must-have in tournaments. If you're going to do a double elimination bracket, you better have fucking continuation, and this is the only way to learn is by basically sacrificing it. So now, actually, yeah. So now we are going to, sorry, I had to make sure I had the fucking thing right. So we're going to go ahead and advance FaZe Red, and then we're going to give Envy the 1 seed, and now it is time, that is my phone, now it is time to take a look at the single elimination bracket. So after group play of double elimination, right, tournament, goes into a single elimination, and this is exactly what it's going to look like. So EG having the number 1 seed coming out of their pool, they're going to be rewarded with the 1 seed. And Envy coming out of their pool with the 1 seed, they're going to have basically a 1 seed. So they're both going off against 2. So again, EG would be facing number 1 team in pool A, faces off against the number 2 the number 2 team in pool B. So that's kind of how it works. So now EG versus FaZe Red, it should be a little bit closer than I think it should be, but I have EG pulling it out. And now, this is where things are going to get fucking crazy. Envy versus Optic Nation. Now, a lot of people are going to pick Envy in this scenario, and I get it. I think Envy's a fucking hell of a team. I really, truly believe they're a fucking hell of a team. But Optic Nation has nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. They have everything to gain. These guys aren't going to get to match up against these teams until after Anaheim. They want to prove it. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but I have a lot of faith in my Optic Nation guys. Now, both of these teams bring mean search and destroy games. I truly believe they're two of the best teams in the game of it. Actually, you know, to be honest, my top 3 teams in search and destroy would be EG, Envy, and fucking Optic Nation. I would say that. So, it's going to come down. I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to come down to the fucking Blitz. And I think Envy loses the Blitz. Optic Nation squeaks it out because Envy's going to play very, very slow, by the way, at this event. Just watch my words. Mark my words, not watch them. So I'm going to go ahead and get crazy. I'm going to put Optic Nation going up. And now we have EG versus Optic Nation. And we all know how that goes from the pool play. I think it's just going to be a 3-1. EG takes the gold. Optic Nation takes the silver. And then in the matchup between FaZe Red and Envy, Envy takes the bronze. Now, other than that, I've been talking for a long time, and I love you, but I don't love you. Take it easy. Yep. And by the way, again, MLG.TV/UGC tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern. Be there, bitches.